All right, Alfred Taliaferro, Mr. Taliaferro TV. All right, let me make something clear. There's a generation out there, right, that, and they're usually around the age of 40, and hip hop is pretty much at the age of 35 to 40 right now. There's a generation out there who believes that some of the artists that were popping when they were in their 20s and 30s, or they were in their teens and 20s, they still believe these artists are still popping. And I'm gonna be honest with you, music has changed. That's just not the case. Now, we do have some of our veterans like the Kanye West who have aged gracefully, the Rick Rosses of the world who have aged gracefully. I might add, these two both started later in their 20s with their huge push. 30s, that's when they really got popping. And you have that generation of artists who have aged gracefully, but then for the most part, you have a lot of artists who, I mean, when you're talking about a guy in 50 Cent, he was as big as it get. I was growing up through that Get Rich or Die Trying era, that candy shop era where 50 Cent, every record he got on, he killed it. Every record, everything he touched, it was an absolute hit smash. The only thing about 50 that people knock him for is that he kind of tore New York up because he couldn't get along with anybody, but you couldn't deny 50 Cent because he was the biggest thing in music. So you had guys ruining relationships with other people because you had to kind of stay next to 50 Cent because you knew he was just that popping. So he kind of created this destruction in NYC. That's what a lot of people attribute the death of NYC. I believe, who says that? I think Ebro says that 50 Cent killed New York. As a matter of fact, he did say that, and I think he told 50 that as well. Again, but you talk about an artist like 50 Cent who was so big in the early 2000s, up to 05, 07. But now it's kind of like a 50 Cent project, and he puts out verses, he puts out projects from time to time. They musically do nothing for me right now at this point. And I'll respect the 50 Cent because what the brother is doing with Power and what he's about to do with this Meat series and television, I even really enjoy 50 Cent the actor. I love it. I love him in that space. I love him growing at close to 40. I love him at that space. Musically, I just don't want to hear it right now. It's just not for me. It's not what I really want to. We like listening to our artists and growing up with them and seeing when they're in their pain. We want to believe their story. That's why a lot of Down South is so real right now, because we know a lot of these artists are in the streets for real. Some of these younger artists in their 20s. That's kind of why we like some of their music, because we're still able to relate to their stories and see a lot of people relate to their stories from being in the street and selling dope. A lot of these guys are so big, you can't relate to their story anymore. And then the two guys I'm about to talk about, 50 Cent and Birdman, these are two guys who have made a plethora of money and they've burnt a lot of bridges. And I think they're in denial in ways, right? Musically, 50 Cent's in denial. From a producing standpoint, I think Birdman is pretty much in denial, all right? So Birdman posted this on his social media account, a picture of Get Rich or Die Trying. And pretty much he was like, I told 50 Cent that if you had me as the executive producer for Get Rich or Die Trying 2, it would be a lit project, all right? And that's just not the case, all right? It's so far from the truth, and so his exact words were, it's going to be a guaranteed platinum, is what he said, right? Let's get it. It's so far from the truth. So it's asinine, it's blasphemy, and any other word Stephen A. Smith would use to call Kevin Durant going to Golden State. It's so crazy to even think about. Who's really here for a Birdman produced album at all? I'm still pissed, and salute to Birdman, definitely a legend. I'm still pissed at how Birdman has handled Jacquees' young career. I think he is one of the best young talent R&B stars. He's in a shell right now. The music is there, the talent is there, the on-stage performance is there, presence is there. He just ain't getting a push. I don't need anything produced by Birdman. I'm sorry. 50 Cent, I don't want to hear it musically right now. I'm cool on that too. I want to see 50 Cent produce more shows like Power. That's what I want to see. I'm cool on anything musically from these two. And the fact that Birdman thinks people are still looking for a Get Rich or Die Trying 2 in 2017 is absolutely hilarious. And even more hilarious than that, it's it's quite comical that Birdman thinks people want him to produce a project for anybody, especially the way people have seen how he's handled the situation with Lil Wayne. We ain't even got a Carter 5 yet, and you talking about producing for artists that ain't even signed to you? I don't understand it. I don't get to it. I don't get it. I can't relate to it. I don't get the idea here. What makes him, who's in these guys' corner musically, and who's telling them that we want these projects? Again, I'm lost here. And I think Birdman's focus should be on Wayne's project. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it seems as if though his focus is on everything but the guy that's actually was his bread and butter, and that's Lil Wayne in the Carter 5. I want to see post about what's the update on that. Like, where are we at with that? This guy 50 Cent, he's not even signed to you. And for 50's concerned, he's getting money elsewhere. Shouldn't be worried about putting out music. I think that ship has sailed, and I don't think people are looking and checking for a 50 Cent project. Just my opinion. Again, these are two great legends. These are legends, guys. I just believe a couple of these guys have burnt bridges in the past, and you kind of understand how they've burnt bridges because it seems like they kind of don't really understand Birdman more than 50. They kind of don't understand what's going on today, and they kind of live in this world of, and again, these have been the guys for so long, and arrogance has probably trumped in their lives, and part of their success has probably been from their arrogance. I think to get to that point, $500 million up, you got it in Birdman. You got to have some level of arrogance, and I just think this is part of the reason why there's a disconnect musically, and maybe even with their artists or people that they try to work with, because these guys, they think things are popping and they think things are the way, and it's just not the case. Not in 2017. Alfred Taliaferro, Miss Taliaferro TV. You've heard my opinions. What do you think about a Birdman produced Get Rich or Die Trying 2? Do you want it? Yes? No? Comment section. Are you listening to 50 Cent musically? Do you check for Birdman as the producer? Talk to me in the comment box below. Thank you for the time, love, support. I don't take it for granted. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more exclusive content like this. And I'm out. If you're looking to book me for an interview video or by phone, if you're looking to have your music or your skill featured on my daily podcast, if you're looking to book me for a speaking engagement to help motivate some kids, if you're looking to have me rock some of your clothing to help promote your brand, make sure you hit me up at booking@itsmrtaliaferro.com. Again, that's booking@itsmrtaliaferro.com.